here in St. George in the town square. We welcome you to this special occasion of the 400th anniversary of the convening of Bermuda's legislature. This convening, of course, is especially significant because it marks the 400th anniversary of the first meeting of Bermuda's General Assembly. Bermuda's first General Assembly, that event occurred August 1st, 1620, in the lovely town of St. George's at St. Peter's Church. Thus, the government has chosen, and the Speaker of the House has chosen to commemorate that singularly important date in Bermuda's history by having this year's ceremony take place in the UNESCO World Heritage Site, the town of St. George.
Then there were panels that have been placed outside of the government post office depicting those first day covers. For example, entrance to St. Peter, the inside of the chamber, the mace, the wooden gavel. Several of those are featured on the first day cover stamps.
Yeah. Bermuda has evolved to that of a self-governing territory with control over most of our internal affairs. We have reached the position primarily as a result of a constitutional order established in 1968. And today's convening is also significant because it will be the first sitting of Bermuda's legislature body since the general election that took place this year in October. Bermuda's legislative body is the oldest in the Commonwealth outside the British Isles and dates back to the 1st of August, 1620, when the then Governor Nathaniel Butler summoned a General Assembly to meet at St. Peter's Church in St. George. And that first meeting was Bermuda's first General Assembly, comprised of Governor Butler and the council, along with 2 male representatives, each from the 8 tribes, now designated parishes, into a colony. It's noteworthy during the opening of the first General Assembly, Governor Nathaniel Butler remarked, and this is a quote, "We come not for ourselves only, or any man's in particular, but to serve and regard the public. We are therefore to rid ourselves from all desires of gain. We are to despise all personal interests." That charge that he made then is a charge that is still relevant today. And during that occasion, the meeting that was held August 1st, 1620, 5 acts were discussed, agreed on, and then prepared to be sent to England for the approval of the company.
And it's important to point out that because we are a territory, our bills, or what we want as laws, have to align with the mother country. And in recent times, there have been some instances when some of the things that we want as laws haven't, or England wanted us to take a particular stand on certain things. When the PLP government won the general election in 1998, Dame Jennifer Smith was the premier and leader of the government. And it was under her leadership that the convening of Parliament switched from being held in Senate grounds and was then held under beautiful tents on the Cabinet lawn.
The framework of government was introduced under the Somers Isle regime in 1620 and remained virtually unchanged until 1968.
That's the Royal Bermuda Regiment Band, under the direction of Major Dwight Robinson. They look so smart. The opposition will give their reply next week.
All right, so we have the members of the senators that are arriving. They will arrive, of course, it looks like she is not Senator President-elect, she is President, Senate President Joan Dillis Wright, JP, the Deputy Clerk to the Legislature, Mr. Clark Sumner, is walking with them.
Here we have the governor arriving in, as you can see on the monitor, he's coming down the street, he's in the landau, the horse-drawn carriage, and of course there's the motorcade that is preceding the governor.
And on the arrival of the governor on the square,
The audience is standing.
Yes. His Excellency, of course, will arrive now, and he will be met.
The Speaker of the House of Assembly to request the presence of His Honourable House forthwith. Sir. Mr. Mayor, good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you doing?
The governor was met at the mayor's parlor by the mayor, as well as by the president of the Senate, Joan Dillis Wright.
Yeah.
And of course, the mayor of St. George's is Mr. George Dowling III. He will remain with the governor in the mayor's parlor until the governor alights the throne. Black Rod must have knocked on the door.
Yes. The Sergeant at Arms.
Sergeant Major Allen just opened and shut the door.
Oh, let me see. As we said, this is all we spoke about earlier.
Please bring him forward to the bar of the House.
Sergeant Major Allen has just been instructed to open the door.
Mr. Speaker, I am commanded by His Excellency the Governor on the occasion of this 400th anniversary of the convening of the legislature
Delivering the message.
to request the attendance of your Honourable House on the town square of the town of St. George forthwith.
Thank you.
There will be, of course, the procession of the Speaker of the House, as well as the members of the government and the opposition.
And the speaker will also be accompanied by Mrs. Shonette Wolf, who is the clerk of the legislature, the sergeant at arms proceeding then.
And as we said, this has just been a fun, phenomenal, awesome occasion to be 400 years later being able to celebrate Bermuda's legislative body, the oldest in the Commonwealth outside of the British Isles, and it dates back to the 1st of August, 1620, right here at St. Peter's Church. Now, I have to say this, it's not a fashion show, and I'm not trying to make it a fashion show.
Of course not.
But I have to say, the ladies always represent.
They
The
do.
women represent.
They do.
The women members of the Senate, members of Parliament, and
even those in our audience.
yeah, people worked hard to get here.
They sure did.
To be members
They
of
sure
Parliament.
did. Black Rod is leading the procession into the square.
His Excellency has
His Excellency is on the throne,
waiting.
standing, awaiting their arrival. Sergeant Major Allen is proceeding.
He's bearing the mace.
He is bearing the mace.
Clerk to the Legislature, Mrs. Shonette Wolf, and followed by the Speaker of the House, Mr. Dennis.
Mr. Dennis Lister.
Lister.
The Speaker has just greeted the Governor officially. The Premier has entered the tent. And momentarily we will see the Premier greet the Governor. And he has just done so.
And the Honorable, of course, Honorable Cole Simons will be going next.
And as the new parliamentary session begins, we pause firstly to acknowledge your sovereignty, and to thank you for your goodness and mercy in providing for us a beautiful land and for the diversity and giftedness of the people who make up our island home. We praise you for all promoting peace and justice to create and preserve that which is right and true. In this last year, we thank you for guiding our leaders with wisdom in the handling of the COVID pandemic, in seeking to bring help to those who have struggled as a result from economic and emotional privation. Thank you for bringing us through a peaceful election and for the opportunity this brings to build for a secure future.
There will be a time when COVID-19 is not the sole determinant of how we live. We will unite in full worship again. We will assemble as friends and family in fellowship again. We will renew historic sporting rivalries, and cup match will again be our summer highlight. But in the meantime, we must continue to shield the vulnerable and help those who need it most. Traditionally, the Governor is permitted to add some words of his own, and I do so on this occasion, mindful of the fact that this is my last speech from the throne, and that when the legislature next convenes in this fashion, a woman will deliver the address from this historic seat. I have much to do in my remaining weeks in office, but I will depart Bermuda confident that this island will find a way through the future challenges it will face as it has managed and overcome current and past challenges. That is partly due to our strong institutions, including this elected Assembly, our government and our independent judiciary, operating with a clear separation of powers, helping to protect individual human rights and enshrining the rule of law. Above all, however, it is due to the inventiveness, commitment and determination of the people of these islands in all their diversity, which we have seen come to the fore this year to perhaps a greater extent than in any period since World War II. I pay deep tribute to our medical and health staff, our emergency services, and all those who have helped to keep Bermuda safe in the past year. Madam President and members of the Senate, Mr. Speaker and members of the House of Assembly, I declare this session open, and may God guide you in your deliberations.
members of Parliament will now retire to St. Peter's Church, and members of the Senate will retire to St. Peter's Church
St.
Hall.
Peter's Church Hall. To continue the business of the day. You will see the recession. Yeah.
You guys gonna talk?
Yeah.
Okay, start blathering.
So, of course, we've had the Royal Bermuda Band, Royal Bermuda Regiment Band, the Royal Bermuda Regiment, and now the members are retiring to their respective chambers. It was a shorter speech for the throne. Governor John Rankin's the last one, and as he made mention, the next one will be written, will be presented
by the new
by the
governor.
new governor.